Yo, what is good, YouTube? In today's video, we're giving you guys the top 5 meta loadouts to use here in season 2. If you guys enjoyed this video, let's break 200 likes, subscribe with notifications turned on, and let's get into it. So hopping into the top 5 here, I want to point this out. You guys are going to notice a lot of changes to the fluidity of Warzone, how the game feels. It feels a lot faster. You can even just check it in the firing range. But even down here in your perk slot 1, this is going to confuse some people. I think it's glitched right now. But they took away dexterity and basically replaced it with Mountaineer from, of course, Warzone 3 or, MW3 Warzone. So you can select that, but it's still just basically going to show up as the, white box. So don't be alarmed. That is out there for everybody. But anyways, let's get in here and show you guys what you should be using here on the Compact 92, as this is pretty much the #1 SMG you guys can use here after all the different updates, buffs, and nerfs. And even the guns that feel nerfed still feel pretty good. So let's get into it here. First thing, you guys can either use a muzzle, you don't have to. I'm not going to for this build in particular. What we're going to do is our first attachment is we're going to throw on that long barrel to increase that our overall damage range the most we possibly can. I believe this to be super beneficial. You guys need that long barrel on this gun. We don't really care about getting more bullet velocity or getting both of them at once. That's mainly an assault rifle thing that you should be worried about here, is like a reinforced barrel. So the long barrel is what is going to be nice. You can see the detailed statistics here. Nice little 12.6 meters in effective damage range. This gun has a crazy fast fire rate, so you can kind of get away with having a little bit less of an effective damage range. And the range you're using it at, for your bullet velocity here is only just sub 500. It's basically hit scan, so we don't care about that too much. In the barrel section, we're going to go down here and use the Ranger foregrip. This helps with your horizontal recoil and your sprinting movement speed, which is really nice, super awesome. You guys definitely want to go ahead and use this. Seriously, it is just one of the best attachments for an SMG. Magazine section, we're going to go here and use Extended Mag 2, which gives us 50 rounds in the mag. You guys can definitely run Extended Mag 3, and I will tell you guys that when you do use this gun and reload, it is going to feel faster. They pretty much buffed the reload speed, a lot of the movement type speeds for a lot of guns, so you almost feel like you got like automatic sleight of hand on. It's going to feel a lot faster to reload and do a bunch of things in the game, which is great. Swap weapons, so everything's going to feel quicker, more fluid, basically how like MW3 Warzone felt. So that is a definite great step in the right direction. Rear grip section, we go down here and throw on the ergonomic grip, slide to fire, dive to fire, ADS speed. You guys definitely want to go ahead and have this on here. Super nice, super crucial. Slide to fire is a huge statistic, for all the BO6 SMGs or BO6 guns in general. And of course, having good ADS speed is really nice. Don't care as much about that dive to fire, but it does come in handy every now and again if you decide to go for a dive. Lastly, in the stock section, we go down here and run the balance stock for that aim walking movement speed, hipfire movement speed, and strafing movement speed. Also, you could technically run the infiltrator if you want to for just that increase in aim walking. You will have more of that, but you will also still get only a little bit of that here with this, but you get the 3 other pros. And of course, there is no cons to any of these attachments. So infiltrator or balance, it's up to you. I would say if you want more aim walking, of course, go for this. But if you want just a little bit more all around, go for the balance stock. I guess it's in the name, balance. So that's gonna be our first build here for this top 5. Next up is going to be the XM4. This, technically speaking, got a bit of a nerf today, and the reason being is that obviously it was just the best gun in Warzone overall. And I still think even with some of these nerfs, it's basically going to be the best they are, unless the new one, the Cypher, ends up being really good, or the Feng 82, which I'm not going to lie is kind of giving me D tier vibes, might take over. We'll have to see. No one's really gotten the chance to test those out yet and really level them up, so can't exactly include those here in this video right now. I mean, I don't got that level up yet. I mean, barely even played the game. So first thing, optics section, we're gonna go in here and we're gonna go use the Kepler red dot. This is my personal favorite to use. You guys can use this. It's gonna be really solid. I mean, I like it. It's one of my favorite ones. Also, you can go down here and still use the Jason Armory 2X or the Willis 3 times. Keep in mind that with the exact lowest recoil build on this gun, you will still have some recoil, because they did try to nerf it a little bit to give you something, so it wasn't like the automatic best thing you could possibly use. So the Jason Armory 2X, Willis 3 times fine, but the Kepler is my go-to. Muzzle section, you go in here, throw on that compensator. Does vertical recoil the absolute most it can for basically any attachment, so that is really solid. And you guys definitely want to be using the compensator as opposed to any of these other ones in here. Still, even after the season update, the compensator is the best muzzle attachment for this thing. Barrel section, once again, we're sticking with our tried and true reinforced barrel for that increase in damage range and bullet velocity. This does the exact same thing as it did previously. I'll show you guys this here right now in the detailed statistics. It's a nice 41 meters in damage range, so obviously not the best, but if you go in here, The long barrel gets you out to 48, which is cool, but you can see your bullet velocity is only at 800 meters per second. Then if you go to the gain twist, you can see your damage at effective range is 34, which is really bad, but you have a crazy fast bullet velocity. So, I mean, it's just not good all around. You have to go for the reinforced barrel. This will still be your best option for the XM4. Skip the underbarrel section, go to the magazine. We're actually going to throw an extended mag 2 for this specific build. And the reason being is that they did add a much more harsh penalty to extended mag 3. So it does affect you a decent bit more. But if you feel real comfortable running your extended mag 3, you're okay with the penalties you've gained, then that is okay. Run extended mag 3. But if you want more mobility after the update and a very fast reload, because they, like I said, they impacted the reload speeds for everything, you can go ahead and run extended mag 2, and it'll probably feel a bit more like almost like a sleight of hand reload, just because of how much they sped stuff up. Lastly, we're gonna go to the stock section. We're gonna go down to the buffer weight stock. This is still, like, you know, the best thing you guys can possibly run. I've tested it out, played around with it here, especially even in the firing range, just trying to get recoil patterns, and yeah, it's definitely still the best out there. So even when you break down the statistics, the damage at range and stuff, then you go into the firing range to test stuff out, buffer weight stock is still going to be the best out there over like the vertical foregrip or something else like that. You know, so you definitely want to go and run this. This will be your best thing for recoil control, and this will make it up to be the best XM4 build after the up. Next up, we're going to take a look at the Jackal PDW. This also got touched here within the update, and I'm not going to lie to you guys, this gun is going to feel wicked fast when you're using it in game. Just even what I could tell by messing with it in the firing range, this is going to be ridiculous. So you're going to really enjoy using this here, especially after the update. So first thing, we can skip the muzzle. I'll show you guys an alternate build if you want. We're going to go straight to that barrel, throw on the long barrel here. Of course, increase out our damage range as much as possible. Gets us out to 12.2 meters. Not the absolute greatest. I think it caught a slight damage range nerf. So, I mean, obviously it's not the best, but this is still probably going to be like the #1 meta SMG. They're just trying to balance it out so it doesn't just reign supreme over absolutely everything else in the SMG category, because that's pretty much what it was doing. I mean, the PP919 was really solid, but it was still even better than that. So you guys have to have some balance in the game. And I mean, I'm all for having a little bit of balance and variety in what people use. Underbarrel section, we're going to go down here and throw on the Ranger foregrip here. Horizontal recoil and sprinting movement speed, really solid. So I always like to run that. Magazine, we're gonna go throw on extended mag 2, and I tested this out. This actually feels still wicked fast to use, even in the firing range. You guys can just like go in here. It's like almost like an A/B test. Everyone knows exactly how the gun felt beforehand, how it feels afterwards. You can run your similar build. You can check it out, and it's just like, dude, like it feels leaps and bounds different in a good way. In a good way. Rear grip section, we go through on the ergonomic grip here once again. Like I always say, slide to fire, dive to fire, and ADS speed, which is awesome. So we really can't complain about that. It does exactly what we need it to. And that's really going to be about that, honestly. Lastly, stock section, we go through on the infiltrator stock for aim walking movement speed. I'm not going to lie to you guys, I don't know what it is. Sometimes with that balance stock, I feel almost too fast. Like I move too quick. I don't know what it is, but the balance stock is really solid, so you can use that. But the infiltrator does work out very nicely as well. And for you guys that are wondering, since I haven't addressed it yet, yes, this is an MW3 get higher camo. I have it saved as a blueprint, you know, because I did the camo swap glitch, and they didn't reset it after the update, so I'm really not mad about that. I'm not sure if that still works, but if it does, I might have to make like a short or something on it just to show you guys. But balance stock or infiltrator, it's up to you guys. And that is going to be your full Jackal build. And if you want to, by the way, take this off while let's recoil, go into your throw on the compensator, and this will be your other way to run the Jackal PDW. Next up for an AR, let's actually show you guys the GPR 91. So this right here is really solid, basically right behind the XM4 in terms of like what it's truly effective at. It's a really solid AR. Also, I want to point out that for whatever reason, they'll probably fix it. But if you go to the, the optics and you guys throw on an optic, you want to use something that's of a lesser zoom, like the 1.25x Kepler red dot, because the 2 and 3 times have this weird, like constant visual shake. Like it's really odd. I mean, if you put it on the firing range and test it out for yourselves, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, unless they somehow, hot fix patch update that. But it does have a bit of that weird recoil to it. So if they don't patch it, go and use something like the Kepler red dot, which will have the most minimal amount of shake possible and still be really solid. And that'd be probably my go-to. Though this gun does feel sometimes more effective when having a longer sight. So if you can deal with that visual shake, go for it, but otherwise use the Kepler red dot. Muzzle section, still got to throw on that compensator to help us out the vertical recoil. This gun almost weirdly enough has a little bit more recoil than the XM4 when I don't think it really should, but it's still very easy to control, super manageable, so you guys are gonna have fun with that. Barrel section, to go throw on the reinforced barrel here as per usual. Still the best thing to be able to run. I'll select this and show you guys those charts. 44.2 meters, technically speaking, better than the XM4 now. And our bullet velocity is 936 meters per second, which is a nice 20% increase. I always like to say that the general rule of thumb for bullet velocity is about 900 plus meters per second, which you want to be like in front of. At that point, that's when you have a really solid AR. You have a good damage range as well. Barrel section, we're gonna go for that vertical foregrip. There's no, buffer weight stock or something like that for the GPR. Otherwise, we'd be using that. But the vertical foregrip is our next best option. I'm speaking of, I guess, if you don't have the buffer weight on the XM4, use the vertical foregrip, and that is your other good option. I didn't really talk about that, but that's really solid. Anyways, so the vertical is the choice on this one. And lastly, the magazine section, got to throw on extended mag 2, gets you 60 rounds to the mag. Biggest mag we got, no reason to use literally anything else. So go ahead and use this. This is my full GPR 91 build. Now for our last gun here in the top 5, this is something I'm really personally excited to use in game. Apart from the new DLC guns, we just got to use those before we start judging if they're meta or not. I mean, it's just too early to tell, but you can tell by using the other existing guns here. But anyways, the PP919 is going to be absolutely wicked with the mobility updates and stuff like that, and I'm really excited to use this thing, especially after the updates where they nerfed the Jackal a little bit. Muzzle section, to go through on the compensator here. I still really like the compensator. I mean, I think it's fine if you want to use the compensator or the suppressor. This is that gun where you can use the suppressor as opposed to the compensator and still be perfectly fine. So it's just up to you on that. If you want to have a suppressed SMG, this would be the SMG to do it, because you're not taking away from anything else to add on a suppressor. Like for instance with the Jackal, you'd have to take away probably your stock to add on a muzzle if you don't want to, you get what I'm saying. So with this, there's no underbarrel, so you don't really have to take away to add on a muzzle attachment. So suppressor, compensator, I just normally go for the compensator. It works out fine for me. Barrel section, gonna throw on the long barrel here as per usual. I think this is still the best thing to go ahead and run. We can take a look at the range. It pretty much didn't get touched in the range category, which is really nice. Your damage distribution is still the same. So overall, this gun really didn't get like any nerfs to it. It just kind of basically got some buffs, which we like those. Magazine, we're going here and throwing Fast Mag 1. This is something I really noticed was unbelievably quick when I was testing it out. Fast Mag 1 feels fantastic. You guys are going to love using this thing. I mean, this really does feel like true sleight of hand on a gun, not like before was like you had a faster reload, but it really wasn't doing a whole lot. This really does feel like sleight of hand, so we like this quite a bit. Next up, we're gonna go in here, ergonomic grip here once again. This is pretty standard. I mean, a lot of the SMG builds here are not going to be too crazy, different, unless there is some unique specific traits to the SMG we have to take into account. But the ergonomic grip here is still the best for this gun. And then last in the stock section, my preference is actually the infiltrator on this thing. I really like this. I think that balance stock, I need a little bit more aim blocking movement speed out of it for me to get behind it. I just find this to be the best personally, and I like strafing back and forth, and especially when you get that crispy specialist bonus, you're gonna have a lot of fun using this exact setup. So that's my full build. That's been my top 5. If you guys enjoyed the video, give it a like, subscribe, notifications turned on, share this other video on screen. I'll see you all next time.